It's platforms like these that give a chance to Pan-Africanism to live on. Initiatives of people that are not paid for doing what they do. People that just out of identifying necessity try to fill the gap. People like myself would love so much to see that young people can meet every week and talk every day, perhaps. But in our scheduling, it's not easy for you to focus as much attention to the detail as is necessary. And that's why I'm grateful to people like the Kaguta Foundation and this People's Talk platform for allowing this space to happen, and therefore enable bringing up more of this. I've seen Albert ask me to exhaust the question of unity in the East African community. Okay, questions are still coming in, but I'm just going to summarize really quickly. With regard to the East African community, my position is simple. The East African community needs to move its understanding of gains to its people. Today, people seem to only notice when a border is closed. They don't notice how much the difference in trade is between 2011 and 2019 before that the border is closed. They don't notice how much we have gained in intra-regional trade between Kenya and Uganda, because people can move along across those borders with a national ID and don't need a passport. You know, the lack of visa fees, people do not understand the impact of that on business. So I would like to say that for the East Africa to work, there needs to be a decentralization. It needs to be brought down to the level at which people can understand it and consume it for them to advocate for the community. Timothy, about my story at the NYC, we are writing that one. It's 6 months in. We are writing that one, and I'll be more than happy to tell it in my 4th year. But so far, it is in enlarging the scope of the NYC to move beyond just participating in politics to actually looking at how we can contribute to present emerging needs of our generation, like access to SRHR services, which is one of our core 5 strategic investment plan areas, like increasing general quality of youth participation in the country, like advancing, like now this is important, advancing our positioning as young people in Uganda on the continent in terms of how we interact with other young people and how we learn best practices from other nations. Grace also had a question similar to that with the National Youth Council, but if you could retype it, Grace, I can see you're on. I might be able to answer it. Then finally, there is how country general elections affect Pan-Africanism. You know, this is what I discussed at the beginning, the intra-country politics, the nationalism not being managed well has a big impact on Pan-Africanism. I can tell you that, for example, if elections in Uganda don't happen well, it means that the respect for the outcome of that election and the person who becomes the eventual winner of that election reduces on the continent. And that affects the implication in terms of their voice, in terms of their capacity to push Pan-Africanism. There's a time when there's a coup that happened in a momentary coup in Burundi. And the East African community just told them that we're not going to recognize you. Mali wanted to take a position in the Pan-African Parliament just recently in South Africa when it sat. But Mali itself had been suspended from the African Union for the coup that was later led by Kano, I think, I can't pronounce his name well. But that's the influence of international politics on Pan-Africanism. It really affects it.